All right, guys, if you're in the need of a new vehicle, especially if this is going to be your first purchase ever of a vehicle, there's some information that you might need to know that a lot of people probably either don't know or probably won't tell you. So, the thing is you're going to have to be probably getting a loan on your vehicle. Some people, again, already don't know what that means. So that means you're going to be getting a loan from a bank they're going to give you the money, or the car dealership the money, and you owe the bank now. So in order to do that, you are going to have to pay back the bank. So that's pretty simple. But then on top of it, a lot of people don't know that you end up paying interest on that. So interest is money that you're literally paying the bank for free that doesn't even go towards the payment of the vehicle. So there are little websites that you can go to. So I got one just called calculator.net, and they gives you an auto loan calculator. So you can kind of put in your information and it'll tell you what your payment's going to be. And so you kind of know ahead of time what it's going to look like and how much money you're actually going to be spending on your vehicle. So let me just put some numbers up here on the screen here. It gets a little interesting here. So let's just say, again, this is going to be your first vehicle. So the big thing with your first vehicle, obviously, is that you're not going to have a trade-in. So you don't have any money that you're going to be getting from an old vehicle. So it's going to be straight just your money that you have right now. So let's just say your vehicle that you're buying is going to be about $30,000, okay? And then the term's going to be about 60 months. So, and the interest rate's 6%. So again, you can change these numbers to whatever you want to. So 6%, and then we got no cash incentives, and your down payment is probably going to be maybe around 10%. So depending on how much cash, again, you have already, you're probably young, don't have a lot of cash. So you probably put just a little bit down. So this is 10%. So $3,000 down for cash. And again, you'll have no trade-in value. And then the rest of those numbers down below are just kind of your taxes. And you can see there's a button down there that says you can include the taxes and fees and loans in this number. I'm just going to exclude it for now because it's all different based on your state and taxes and all that stuff. So that's kind of our numbers let's just go with for now. So now, if you go down, if you scroll down, once you hit calculate, it'll tell you your monthly payment. So you're going to be paying around like $500 a month for that car payment. And you might think that's going to be what the dealership's going to show you. They're going to show you, hey, we got it down to about $500 for you. All you have to pay is $500 a month and you'll get the vehicle. And that sounds good because you're like, oh, 500 bucks, not really thinking about how much that adds up over time. Obviously, you kind of know that it's like, oh, it's going to be whatever. Your loan's going to be $27,000. You're like, I'm going to pay $27,000 and I'm going to get this car. But you have to add the interest on. So now, in this little section here, it's going to show you the sales tax is $2,000. So then now you got to pay $6,000 just up front. So your down payment plus your taxes, you're already dropping $6,000 in cash. So now you got your payments of $31,000. So this is the interesting part. So now it says total loan interest. So this is how much money you're literally just paying the bank to get the money to buy the car. So that money goes to absolutely nothing except for being able to pay for the car. So as you can see there, it's paying $4,319.14 in that period of time. So you're going to be spending almost $4,500 in absolutely nothing. It's going to go not towards the car, not towards anything. It's just to be able to pay for the car or be able to buy the loan from the bank. So that's part of the interesting part. But now, if you keep going down, well, right below that, so that's going to be your total cost that you're actually going to be paying for the car. You think you're paying $27,000. In the end, you're going to be paying $37,000 to own that car. So that's going to be obviously $7,000 more than what you thought you were going to be paying for it, even with your down payment. So now, if you keep scrolling over or scrolling down, it'll show you the amortization chart. Now this is where it gets interesting, and this is where a lot of people kind of lose it and don't really understand how this works. So what this means, like you'll see a chart down below it that shows you an annual schedule and a monthly schedule. So you can look at either one. It's going to break it down per payment. So if you do annually, it's just going to be per year. So let's just look at that first line. So your ending balance is already, well, you don't look at the ending balance yet. So principal. So principal means that's paying for the vehicle. That's going straight actually to the car. You're paying off the car. So the first year, you're going to spend $4,773 going actually towards the payment, and that's going to lower your payment. And that's why your payment at the end is going to be $22,000 after the first year. But if you go to the left of that, it shows the interest rate. You're going to be paying $1,400 or $1,490 the first year for nothing. It's just going to go just to be able to make the payment. So you got to make an extra $1,500 just to pay the bank in order to pay for the loan. So the thing with the amortization is it's not equal. So up top, we said we were paying a 6% rate, right? It's not 6% overall, it's 6% annually. So every year you pay 6%, but you pay 6% on the total that you owe. So that's why it adds up so quick. But the interesting thing is they grade it. So it's a gradient. You don't pay 6% every year. You actually pay more interest up front than you do towards the end of your payment. So we have a 60-month lease or a loan. So therefore, if we're paying 6% interest right up front, that first year, you're actually probably paying around 12% interest because they want to get their money back with interest. They want to make sure that they get their interest back. So if you think you're going to pay it off in like 5-6 years, that's actually really doesn't even do much good for you because you're actually paying all the interest up front. Because if you think you're going to pay it off and be like, oh, then I'll save me some interest. It will, but it's not going to save you the big chunk because as you can see here on the chart, the first 2 years alone, you're spending $1,400 and $1,100 on interest. And you can see those numbers go down annually. So you keep going down that line, and that last year, the 5th year that you're paying the loan off, you only pay $198 in interest. So at that point, there's really not much money that's going towards interest. It's all going to payments because you're paying $6,000 that year in payments. So if you plan on paying it off right away or paying it off before it whatever becomes the end of your loan, it really doesn't do you much good unless you're going to pay it off in the first 2 years. But if you're going to pay it off in the first 2 years, it's almost worth it just to try to save up the cash and buy it with cash. That'll save you $4,000 in the long run and not have to pay any interest at all. So that's the interesting part. So you can do that annually or you could do it by monthly. So if you look at the next page, or if you scroll down a little more, you can do it monthly and it'll break it down each month how much you're going to be paying in interest. So the first month again, you're paying $386 in principal and $135 every month you're going to be throwing just to be able to pay for that bill. So that really adds up quickly. You can see it keeps going. It slowly goes down, but after a while, it adds up really quick. So yeah, $4,000 in interest. So very interesting. So obviously, once you get your first car and you pay it off or whatever, then you'll have a car to trade in. So that obviously knocks it down a little more, but it's still something to think about when you're buying a car. That amortization, you're paying that interest up front. Therefore, and it depends on all your rates and everything. If you're buying a more expensive car, it's going to be more interest. If you have a higher interest rate, it's going to be more interest. So that's what's nice about these calculators. If you use the calculator, you can put in all your terms and you can see exactly actually what you're paying. Because you might think you're only paying $30,000 because you're like, oh, I got a $500 bill a month, not realizing that all of that $500 is not even going towards the payment. You're only knocking it down a little bit each month because most of it's just going to the bank for absolutely nothing. So in the long run, it's better if you can just save up your cash and then just buy the vehicle with cash. It'll save you a lot of money in the long run, especially if you're getting a more expensive vehicle. So just some wisdom out there for you guys if you are looking at buying a new vehicle or your first time vehicle or just any vehicle in general. Just make sure to look at the interest, do the calculator rate, and figure out how much you're going to be paying in interest overall. Hope you guys have found this handy. Give it a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys later. Bye.